Skull Island is more than just a place. It is a promise. It promises mystery. It promises danger. It promises a world untouched by time. Since the first King Kong movie, this island has captured our minds. It is the home of the king. It is where Kong rules. The island is famous for its skull-like mountain. It is hidden by fog and storms. No one knows exactly where it is. This mystery makes it exciting. Every new movie gives us a new version of this incredible place. It's a land where giant monsters are real, and we get to explore it. This island is a character all on its own. It is just as important as Kong himself. The first Skull Island is a masterpiece of fear. It was created in 1933. It used stop-motion animation. This made the monsters look real and jerky. It was new technology for the time. The island felt like a nightmare brought to life. It was a place of shadows and sharp rocks. The jungle was thick and dark. You never knew what was hiding in the trees. The sounds of the island were just as scary. The roars of dinosaurs and the screams of sailors filled the air. This island was not a friendly place. It was a place where humans were food. The creatures of the 1933 island are legendary. They are the reason this movie is a classic. We saw Kong fight a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It was an epic battle between two kings. He also fought a giant snake-like Elasmosaurus. He saved Andaro from a pteranodon. Every monster was a new threat. They were all designed to be terrifying. Willis O'Brien, the animator, was a genius. He made these clay models feel alive. They moved with a strange energy. This made the island feel truly ancient and alien. What makes this island so special is its atmosphere. It feels like a real, lost world. The giant wooden wall built by the natives is iconic. It was made to keep Kong out, or maybe to keep him in. The 1976 version of Skull Island is very different. Director Dino De Laurentiis wanted a more modern feel. This island is not a lost world of dinosaurs. It is a remote island rich in oil. The mystery comes from a permanent cloud bank that hides it. When the explorers arrive, they find a primitive world. But instead of dinosaurs, there is only one giant monster, Kong. This makes Kong feel even more special. He is the only one of his kind. The island has two big mountains, Peak 1, Peak 2. This is different from the classic skull shape. It gives the island a unique look. The focus of this island is on Kong himself. There are no other giant creatures for him to fight. The only other monster is a giant snake. The fight between Kong and the snake is a key moment. It happens in a muddy pit. It is a brutal and messy fight. This shows Kong's raw power. The lack of other monsters might seem disappointing, but it makes Kong the undisputed king. He has no rivals. The island belongs to him alone. The native villagers worship him like a god. They offer him sacrifices. This adds to his mythic status. What works well in this version is the realistic setting. The movie was filmed in Hawaii. The jungles look lush and real. You can feel the heat. You can feel the humidity. The giant wall is still there. It is huge and impressive. It feels like it could really hold back a giant ape. The mood is less about fantasy and more about adventure. It feels like a real expedition gone wrong. The story is about greed. The oil company wants to take the island's resources. They do not respect the island or its king. This is a big theme in the movie. The downside is the lack of monster variety. Fans of the original movie missed the dinosaurs. The island feels a little empty without them. The focus is more on the human drama. But the island still has its moments. The scene where Jessica Lange's character, Dwan, is offered to Kong is unforgettable. The giant ape's gentle curiosity is surprising. He is not just a beast. He is a lonely creature. This Skull Island is less of a monster zoo and more of a lonely kingdom. It is the perfect home for a tragic king. Peter Jackson's Skull Island from 2005 is the ultimate monster island. It takes everything from the 1933 original and makes it bigger and scarier. This island is a truly terrifying place. It is a biological nightmare. Evolution has run wild for millions of years. The result is a place where everything wants to kill you. Jagged rocks, deep chasms, foggy swamps. It is beautiful in a deadly way. The ruins of an ancient civilization are everywhere. It feels like a place where even the gods could not survive. This is Skull Island turned up to 11. The creatures are the stars of this island. Jackson brought back all the classic monsters, and he added new ones. The V-Rex, a descendant of the T-Rex, is a fearsome beast. Kong's battle against three V-Rexes is one of the greatest monster fights in movie history. But the most horrifying part is the insect pit. Carnictus, Wetarex, slimy, hungry, relentless. This scene is famously hard to watch. It shows just how brutal this island is. There is no safe place here. So the 2017 movie, Kong, Skull Island gives us a new and exciting version of the island. This island is part of the Monsterverse. It's a world where giant creatures called Titans are real. Skull Island is the home of one of the most powerful Titans, Kong. But, this island is not just a lost world. It's a place where gods walk the earth. The island is constantly surrounded by a powerful storm system, and that has kept it hidden from the modern world. The look of this island is honestly stunning. It's filled with vibrant colors, giant skeletons, strange landscapes. It really feels like a fantasy world. The monsters on this island are unique. They're not dinosaurs. They're new creations. The main villains are the skull crawlers, these giant two-legged lizard monsters that live underground. They're vicious and hungry, and they're the ancient enemies of Kong's species. Kong is the last of his kind, and he protects the island and its other inhabitants from the skull crawlers. We also see other amazing creatures, giant spiders, huge water buffalo, massive stick insects. Each one feels like it totally belongs to this strange and wonderful ecosystem. What makes this island great is its sense of scale and wonder. Seriously, everything is enormous. The skeletons of Kong's parents are a breathtaking sight. They show the history of the war against the skull crawlers. The island is also home to a tribe of people called the Iwi. They're peaceful and live in harmony with Kong. They see him as their protector and their god. This is a big change from the scary natives of past films, and it gives the island a more hopeful feeling. It's still a dangerous place, but it's not just a place of death. It's a place of life. This version of Skull Island is pure adventure. It's fun and exciting. It feels like an old-school monster movie with modern effects. The film even takes inspiration from war movies like Apocalypse Now, which gives it a cool, stylish feel. The most memorable moment is Kong's fight with the giant skullcrawler at the end. It's a huge battle that destroys the landscape, and Kong proves why he is the king. This island, honestly, is less of a horror show and more of a mythic realm. It's a perfect home for a hero king who stands as a guardian of the natural world. We must talk about Faroe Island. It is from the 1962 movie King Kong vs. Godzilla. This was a giant movie event. Two famous monsters were going to fight. But Kong wasn't on Skull Island. He lived on Faroe Island, South Pacific Island. It was known for red berries. Those berries made a sleep-inducing juice. Faroe was much simpler than Skull Island. No dinosaurs or other giant monsters. A tropical paradise with one giant ape. The people of Faroe were different from Skull Island's natives. They were not afraid of Kong. They saw him as a powerful god. They had a friendly relationship with him. They would have big ceremonies. Dancing, chanting. The ceremonies calmed Kong and made him happy. This was a new idea. In past films, natives were always afraid. Here they lived in peace with their giant god. Faroe itself was not very memorable. Mostly a standard jungle. There was a big wooden fence like on Skull Island. But it wasn't as scary. The island's main purpose was to be a place to find Kong. The story centered on a pharmaceutical company. They wanted to capture Kong for publicity. They heard about the monster god of Faroe and went to get him. The island kicked off the big adventure. It got Kong off his island and headed to Japan to fight Godzilla. So, Faroe Island is not as cool as Skull Island. It lacks mystery and danger. No other monsters to fight. But it's important in Kong's history. It was the first time we saw Kong in color. It was also the first time he was shown as a more heroic figure. He was a champion of humanity against the destructive Godzilla. Faroe gave us a kinder, more godlike Kong. A small but important step in the evolution of the character. It proved Kong could exist outside the darkness of Skull Island. Another important island in Kong's history is Mondo Island. This island appeared in the 1966 animated TV show The King Kong Show. It was also the setting for the movie King Kong Escapes. This version of Kong was aimed at a younger audience. Mondo Island was his home. It was a place full of adventure and excitement. It was not as dark or scary as the original Skull Island. It was more like a fun, dangerous playground. Kong, his family, many other giant monsters. The interesting thing about Mondo Island is that it introduced the idea of a heroic Kong. This Kong was a friend to humans. He was the protector of the Bond family, Professor Bond, Susan, Bobby. Whenever they were in trouble, Kong would come to the rescue. He fought against many different threats. He fought dinosaurs, giant sea creatures, and evil robots. This show gave Kong a new role. He was not a tragic monster, he was a superhero. The main villain of Mondo Island was Doctor Who. No, not that doctor. This Doctor Who was an evil scientist. He wanted to capture Kong and use him for his own wicked plans. He even created a robot version of Kong, called Mechani Kong. The battle between King Kong and Mechani Kong is a classic moment in kaiju history. It was a big fight on top of the Tokyo Tower. Mondo Island was the place where all these wild adventures began, science fiction and fantasy. Mondo Island is not as famous as Skull Island. It is a bit silly and campy, but it had a big influence. It was the first time Kong was shown as a good guy. It introduced the idea of a mechanical Kong, which would inspire Mechagodzilla later. Jungle and mad science. It had dinosaurs, robots, and secret agent villains. Mondo Island represents a lighter, more fun-loving side of the King Kong story. It is a key part of his journey from monster to hero. In the late 1990s, there was another attempt to bring Kong to the screen. This was the animated musical movie, The Mighty Kong. It was a direct-to-video release. It retold the original 1933 story, but for kids. The movie was not a big success, but its version of Kong's home is worth mentioning. Skull Island is not mentioned by name. Instead, Carl Denham's map leads him to the island of Borneo. The movie suggests the real adventure begins in a mysterious, foggy swamp on the far side of the island. This version of Kong's home is much less threatening. The art style is simple, like a classic cartoon. The island does not feel like a lost world. It feels like a regular jungle with a few giant animals. The giant wall is there, the native villagers are there. They offer Andero to Kong. It's all done in a very light-hearted way. The movie has songs. The characters sing about their adventure. That makes it hard to feel real danger or mystery. The island is just a backdrop for a simple story. The monsters are also simplified. Kong fights a T-Rex. Kong fights a giant snake. Kong fights a pterodactyl. These are the classic battles from the 1933 film. But they lack intensity. The animation is limited. The fights are over quickly. They don't have the same power as the stop-motion original. They don't match the CGI epics. The island feels small and safe. It's a Skull Island with the scary parts removed. This makes it the least interesting version of Kong's home. It lacks a unique identity. So why talk about it? Because it shows how flexible the idea of Skull Island is. It can be a place of intense horror. It can be a world of high adventure. It can be a cartoon setting for a children's musical. This version is not very good, but it's part of Kong's long, varied history. Even in its weakest form, the story of a giant ape on a mysterious island is powerful. It's a story that can be told in many different ways, for many audiences. This swampy, musical island is a strange footnote in the legend of the king. Skull Island is the soul of the King Kong story. It is the crucible that forged the king. It is a place that lives deep in our imagination. We have seen many versions of this famous island. The 1933 original gave us a black and white nightmare world. It set the standard for every monster island to come. The 1976 version gave us a more grounded, lonely kingdom for a tragic king. The 2017 island gave us a vibrant, mythic realm where gods do battle. Each island has its own strengths. Each one adds a new layer to the legend of Kong. These islands fascinate us because they represent the unknown. They are pieces of a lost world, hidden from our modern lives. They are places where the rules of nature are different, where giant monsters still roam free. This idea is powerful. It taps into our love of adventure and discovery. It also taps into our fears. The fear of being small and helpless in a world we do not understand. Skull Island is the ultimate fantasy destination. It is beautiful, terrible, and full of wonder. It is a place we would never want to visit, but we love to watch others try. After looking at all the contenders, one island stands above the rest. It is the most complete, the most terrifying, and the most awe-inspiring. The one true Skull Island is Peter Jackson's 2005 creation. It is the perfect blend of horror, beauty, and epic scale. It honors the 1933 original, while expanding on it in every way. The ecosystem feels real. The monsters are unforgettable. The sense of dread is constant. This island is not just a setting. It is a living, breathing character that wants to devour everything that enters it. Peter Jackson's Skull Island is the ultimate test. Only a true king could survive there. And it is the place that makes Kong's love for Ann Darrow so powerful. In the middle of all that horror, he finds something to protect. Something beautiful. This gives the story its heart. The 2005 island is a masterpiece of world building. It is the definitive version of the most famous monster island in cinema history. It is a beautiful, savage Eden. It is the perfect home for the eighth wonder of the world. It reigns supreme.